Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here. I'm back with another episode of what I'm reading and watching. I want to apologize for not getting this episode up on Monday. I was busy with schoolwork and I didn't have time to sit down and upload and record and do everything that needed to be done to make this video, so I apologize for that. So, as always, this is a weekly show that I try to get out every Monday. I apologize for that, in which I talk about the manga and anime that I've been reading and watching over the past week. Usually there's a weekly lineup that I do. You can find all the things I talk about in the description, along with the times that correspond with the video, so you can just skip around and whatnot. Okay, so as usual, starting off with Toriko, our weekly series. So Toriko, this was chapter 314, and basically I don't really care anymore. I will still keep reading, but that's my attitude towards what's happening right now with the Monkey King. I'm off, I don't have an opinion on it, I don't care. I'm just not interested. God, this glare looks awful. I hope that's better. So yeah, I'm not interested. I'm interested in what's going on with Komatsu. I think that is the interesting part of the story. Hopefully next chapter will be different. Hopefully something will happen. I'm tired of this sort of dancing that's been going on. Okay, next up is Bleach 617. First off, there was a very nice color page. Very simple one-page thing. That was nice. And Bleach is getting good again. I've said that the past few weeks. I'm enjoying Bleach. It's something that I look forward to reading now. Before I said all I wanted was the final fight, but now it's getting interesting. I'm interested in the plot. So contrary to what I said a few episodes ago, I'm caring about the plot and what's happening. Someone shows up. They were mentioned last chapter. Now they've officially shown up. I won't give it away. And Taikubo, he is so good at taking previous events and tying them into the current stuff, into the current arc, taking previous bits of information and making them seem relevant. And I think he's going to do that now, and I'm really excited because I enjoy it when he does that. That's all I have for Bleach. One Piece chapter 778. This was awesome. Zolo was awesome in this chapter, and in my opinion, he hasn't been that awesome in a long time. In my personal opinion, I think the last time was before the New World. I know he did something in the Mermaid Island, Fishman Island arc. He had a little bit of action in the final battle, but I think before then, Thriller Bark, or maybe the island before that. I forget the island's name. Yeah, Thriller Bark. That was the last time I really remember thinking Zolo was great, and this was just one amazing double page spread after another. So this was a great Zolo chapter. They were so well drawn. I love Zolo, and I'm gonna give a quick spoiler. You can consider it a spoiler. Zolo says a line in this chapter that I want to share with you guys because I think it's just an incredible line. So you can feel free to skip to the next thing we can talk about, or you can stick around for the line. And the line is, "Don't fuck with the good guys." I just love that line. I don't know why. It's so in your face. Next up is Nisekoi chapter 160. This was another good chapter. It wasn't as good as the previous chapters, a little bit lower, but still a solid chapter. Now, sometimes when reading Nisekoi, especially this chapter, and this happened in the past, I feel like it's not really a love comedy. Like, there's hints of action, especially with Tsumi. Yes. It almost reminds me, especially at the end of this chapter, it almost reminds me of like Black Cat. Just sort of disobeying the organization. That's kind of hinting at what happens there. and just sort of things like that. It doesn't feel like the usual silly romance, and I kind of like that. I mean, it still has hints of it, it still has humor, but right now it's just so into the plot. There's not that much time for jokes, and I can't wait to see next week's chapter. There's going to be an interesting team up going on there, and I'm just not just next week's chapter, but the week after and the week after. Just so many more chapters. I don't know when the story's going to wrap up. I thought it was going to wrap up long ago, and now Shikomi just kept going with it. So I'm really enjoying this. Okay, so next up is Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 108. This was a good chapter. This was the end of, I'm going to mispronounce this, so I'm sorry. This was the end of the internship arc. The word I was trying to pronounce was internship in French. Staggary, whatever. Internship in French. So it was the end of that little story line, and it was over a lot quicker than I expected. It was four chapters. I did enjoy it. Soma showed that he's smart. He can handle the restaurant business. Now my question is, where do you go from here? You go back to school. What event are they going to have now? Are they going to have another little small thing like this, or are they going to have a gigantic big arc like they had with the Fall Classic? So, this was a solid chapter, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter mainly because I'm just wondering. There was no real cliffhanger here. It's just me wanting to see, okay, where do you proceed from here? There are infinite number of possibilities. Okay, next series is My Hero Academia, chapter 32. This was a good chapter. They've just started a one-on-one tournament. The main character, he's about to face off in the first round. That's all I will say, and it's just a great chapter. New character really takes the center stage. Like, he hasn't had a lot of screen time, page time, whatever you want, before this. Interesting new power, and really exciting to see this. And I just can't wait for next week's chapter. And I think I'm really going to enjoy this one-on-one battle thing. I'm just wondering how the main character is going to do this with his all-might power, that it's basically all 100% or 0, and when he does all 100%, like, it seems like no one can beat him, but like he breaks his whole body, so he has to be able to manage this power. And they talk about it a little bit in this chapter, so I won't spoil what they say. So I'm just really interested in also the other fights, the Fire Ice guy. I forget his name. Bakuga, the kid, the rival of the main character from the main character's middle school. He sort of has like explosive power. I'm interested in his match. So those three characters I'm really interested in. Okay, now next up, as always, is Jumpstart. Jumpstart is a thing. Oops, spinning my screen. Jumpstart is a thing in the American Shonen Jump where America brings us the first few chapters of the new series that start in Japan. In Japan's Shonen Jump. This glare is awful. Does that help? Okay. This is bad. So, as I was saying, Jumpstart, they brought us the 4 series and the first 3 chapters of all the series, and I'm going through and reviewing all those chapters. So today, I'm going to talk about the last chapter, Black Clover, by Yuki Tabata, Chapter 2 of Cyborg Roggy by Yu Miki, and Ultra Battle Satellite Chapter 1 by Yusuke Utsumiya. I probably butchered those names, and I am sorry. Okay, so now starting off with Black Clover, this is Chapter 3, and I loved this chapter. I loved this series. I loved all 3 of these chapters. This is incredible. It was funny, it was epic, and I think this series has potential. People were talking about it might be like Naruto, might be like a stereotypical shonen manga. The ending really reminded me of Fairy Tail, and that's has a Naruto sort of vibe to it, and it has the magic like fairy tale. But I think this can go its own way. I think this can be different and unique, and I want to keep reading this. I want this to be the one weekly Shonen Jump in America picks to continue. So yeah, Black Clover Chapter 3, I absolutely loved it, and right now it is my favorite, even though Ultra Battle Satellite Chapter 1 was good, and I'll get to that in just a second. But first is Chapter 2 of Cyborg Roggy. So I mentioned last week that I did not enjoy Chapter 1 of Cyborg Roggy, I just couldn't get into it, and the same thing here, I just can't get into the series. This was a little one-chapter story. It made sense, but it didn't do anything for me. It didn't, in my opinion, didn't establish the main characters. The action I didn't find exciting. The humor I didn't find funny. Everything just fell flat to me. And also, I don't think the characters have like super strong reasons for doing something, which is something I feel like a series needs. Just like the character has to have like some determination, some motive. Like Luffy has a background immediately. Naruto has a background, a reason for fighting. Ichigo, Ichigo, like you follow him, so you can sort of get behind it. I just feel like the characters in Cyborg Roggy, he's like, I made a promise. Well, explain a promise. Show a flashback. Otherwise, it's not doing anything for me. Even Black Clover, the main character there, he has sort of a promise. He has a desire. He has a drive. And you can just feel his determination to win. I just can't feel that in Cyborg Roggy, and I just can't get into this. Okay, so now Ultra Battle Satellite Chapter 1. I mentioned briefly before that I love this chapter. This is an incredible first chapter, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know what I like more, this or Black Clover. I'll have to wait till I read the other 2 chapters of this. But so far, this is really good. This is a really cool but brutal fighting manga. That's what my impression from the first chapter. And since it's the first chapter, basically it's about this kid named Jin Matsuria who loves fighting, but he does it in a street fighting sort of way, and he's like kicked out of karate tournaments and sort of official like fighting tournaments, like sort of sports, because he uses street fighting techniques. Like he accidentally headbutts a kid and he got disqualified for it, even though he thinks he would have won if it was like a real street fight. So he loves fighting. He can't fight in these regular tournaments because he uses like underhanded street fighting tactics. And he meets this girl named Sakura Momochi, and she says, if you want to fight in this brutal thing, because you're right, you would have beaten that guy, follow me now, I'll take you somewhere. And she takes him to this place called UBS, Ultra Battle Satellite, which is basically a no-holds-bar contest of people that just fight. And then when you fight, you get money, because each person that you beat has like a bounty on their head. And as you beat them, you get money, and yours probably will increase too. And it's just incredible. The action was really good. The art during the action scenes was great. You can follow it easily. It's almost like Dragon Ball in the sense that the action is easy to follow, like from one punch to one kick to one everything. It's just so cohesive. It's so great. At other times, the art kind of bugs me because it gets into this super cartoony style when it's trying to tell jokes, and most of the jokes I didn't really like. The side characters I didn't really like, but the main character I think is cool, and the action scenes were cool, and it just struck me at how brutal it was. Not like just blood and gore, but just like where he kicks the guy, where he's gonna punch the guy, just whatever it takes to win. And so I'm really looking forward to reading the next chapter. I'm just wondering, is this going to be a senseless battle manga where he's just out for blood, he's just going to beat the living daylights out of people? Or is he going to fight for a higher purpose? I'm going to lean towards the higher purpose just based on what happened in the chapter. I'm not going to spoil it. I think you should check it out and read this. So yeah, I basically covered everything I wanted to cover. I'm not going to talk about anime. I'm sorry. I kept you here long enough. Next week will be more Jump Start, more Pokemon videos. Those are always coming. And as always, a double thumbs up to end your day with.